Alright guys, you guys caught me in the middle of doing some debugging. I was getting ready for doing some Primal Ifrit stuff tonight, and I ran into an interesting bug where one of the infernal nails wasn't dying, and I discovered that it had to do with the 24-bit monster HP patch that is bundled up with my monster AI upgrade patch. So what I'm ending up needing to do is fix that, because that will cause a problem for anyone who tries to use the patch. Basically what it's doing is, I believe it's not loading all of the HP bytes, and so any monster in slot 6 is getting basically a bajillion health. Okay, so it's not getting changed, so it's starting at FF and not getting initialized to what should be 0/0 for most enemies. So yeah. So what I ended up doing was grabbing the patch and disassembling it here, and I'll actually show you how that works so that you can see how to do that in case you ever run into anything. And like if you get a patch, and like so many other patches are, they turn out to be a little bit buggy, then you can actually look through and find out what's going on. Now it won't be annotated obviously, but you can actually break it down to the disassembly. So let me show you how I got that real quick. So the first thing I did, and we're gonna go back to 24-bit HP, and basically I applied the original 24-bit HP patch to a blank ROM, and using SNS9X debugger you can actually do a disassembly. So in this case I'm working on a fix, so I open up the ROM and you can hit this disassemble button, and you need to find out where in the code it is and disassemble it, and it'll give you the code. Well, how do we find out where it is? With our handy dandy hex editor. Okay, so this is the ROM after it's been patched, and we also need to open an unmodified ROM. Okay, so there's the one with the patch, there's the one that's unmodified, and this might be an add-on. I think I installed this as an add-on, the compare, but it's not hard to find for Notepad++. You compare the two and it shows you where the code differs. So it starts right here, and it is literally just this portion, and then like a couple bytes in the battle calculations, which I will go back and take a look at that also. So what you can do is find out what this offset is. So this is C0D, this is technically D610 because of the hex math. So from over here, C0D, what did I say it was? D610, and not 10 actually. If I do that, it's going to start right here, and that will mess it up. You need to make sure you start on a proper code. If you don't start on a proper code, it's going to read, it could read a parameter byte as a command byte and basically put everything off. Really, really bad. Okay, so we're going to start here, right where we want to be at D613, and then we will go down to where it starts being blank, and you can go after a blank fine, so D680. So C0 D680. So you do that and you get your disassembly. And I hope you guys can see that. I did a bit of tinkering. I have a new layout in my office, in the office that I'm working from. So My wife's in my office. And we got a new monitor, which is really cool. So I can actually have like Twitch and OBS up here without interrupting things. And I did not start recording. I did it again. Sorry, I'll do another intro after I do this, and I'll just record that. Now I'll just chop this up. It doesn't matter. There we go. I'll start recording now also, but yeah, I'll just probably use the one from Twitch. Anyway. So I've got a monitor now, so I can have OBS and Twitch up here and actually see what's going on, which is kind of nice. And I've got more real estate to work with, but some stuff got changed and moved around. I want to make sure. So let me know if you can't see anything or can't read anything. I know a lot of this stuff is really tiny, especially the stuff in the debugger. That already has pretty small text to begin with. So if you're just watching this in like a tiny little window, you're definitely not going to see that. So you should all be watching this in full screen because I should have your undivided attention. Anyway, so that's how you get a disassembly, and then I just copied it over into here so that I could break it down. I may not go all the way through that tonight. I might, tinker with it a little bit. But we should get back to Ifrit for all intents and purposes. But anyway, how are you guys doing tonight? I see I've got people on. So I'm feeling a little bit lonely. I want to see you guys. Are you chatting? Let me just see if my chat window's got anything, because I did change the way that works. Oh no, it is going, but it's not showing up in here. Oh, there it is. Dagnabbit. The whole time. There we go. Yeah, I changed some stuff. Alright, now I should be able to minimize this and not lose anything. Alright. That's the way that works. See, I'm learning stuff. And why is there that there? Is that a thing? See, all this stuff you find out. Okay, so that's those little things. Alright, see, things for me to work on. I can do this. Yeah, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning for you, Kuga, so I understand. And James, you're also across the pond. What time is it? What time is it for you? Like 2, 3? Am I all the way down also? Let me make sure I'm all the way down also. Yeah. Yep. Alright, cool. Hey, geekiness. We are doing good. We're doing very well. 2:38. Wow. Yeah, you guys are way more dedicated to this than I am, obviously. Wow. Yeah, geekiness. I don't know if you followed any of our stuff recently, but we're actually doing a boss hack for Primal Ifrit from Final Fantasy XIV, because there was a recent update for Final Fantasy Record Keeper with a nice 16-bit sprite for him. So we are working on that. Yeah. So I didn't quite figure out what the problem with the ROM was last time. It kind of got put on the back burner. I see where the differences started happening in the ROM, and it was somewhere in CF. So I'm not entirely sure where that is, but I think that might be somewhere in the monster scripts. It may have something to do with maybe when I did the expanded the ROM and tried to move stuff, maybe I didn't save it, and like in here in the expanded ROM stuff, I think maybe I applied the patch but didn't save it, and so it changed some things. I don't know. So I didn't dive into it all the way, but when I went back through everything that we did and did it again, it all worked. So I'm just going to leave that alone. Alright, so I rearranged things a little bit to make it a little bit easier to see. This one right here is the one that has the problem with living forever, and I will show you that. Let me show you that. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do this in here so that I can actually go, oops, do not want to do that. So that I can look at the hex. Because I can actually see what it's doing. In fact, because I have the disassembly, I see that it's getting stored in here. FF6LE. Actually, I think that's the original. That's the original HP byte. Because it's not in the CF bank that the HP is stored. Is it? Shoot. Now I don't remember. Now I do not remember. There's actually instructions in here. Okay, yes it is in CF. So CF-D150 is where the third byte is located. So that is what that's doing. CF. Oh, but that is different. CF50. I want D150. Right? Isn't that what it told me? So maybe I'm in the wrong portion. Maybe this is a different thing. Well, we'll just take a look and see. Alright. So we're going to load Primal Ifrit. Oh, you know what? Actually ran into something else. That I forgot to fix. So I actually cannot do it in here. Have the problem with an event. And it'll be a lot easier to show you that. Yeah, I'm coming in a little bit half-cocked today. I tried to get prepared, and I just ran into a bunch of tiny little things. So between, it's gonna be too loud. I don't want that too loud. Also, check me to make sure that my volume levels are okay. So let me know how that's going. Let me make sure I don't need to just put this up. No, I am. You know what? Stuff does keep going. I have to keep this window active. I thought it would keep going, but it does not. Oh, yikes. Sorry to hear that. Do you know about what spikes? Oh, okay. Yeah, so the reason the chat wasn't scrolling is that I have got this little window thing here, and it's a pop out, and when I was testing stuff, I couldn't both type, and I was just checking to make sure that it stayed viewed, and so when I minimize it, it all stays there, and so I thought it was fine. But it won't. It actually won't scroll. It just keeps the last thing on there. So I actually do have to keep this window alive. Just wanted to keep it out of the way. I was worried something was going to cover it up. Okay, so I think I've got it now. See, that happened. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I played that one. I played Final Fantasy XIV when it first came out. And that was a fun one. That was a fun battle. Alright, what am I doing here? I'm ignoring all of this. Wait a second. You shouldn't be doing this. Or did I just wait too long? Is this the actual game? Yeah, this is the actual game. I don't want this. Wait a second. I'm supposed to have SRAM already in here. Okay, yes I do. This Brun guy. You know, that whole no dash thing is what has kept me from using B-Run in a lot of other stuff. Yeah, watch what keeps happening here. And it'll go through this first portion here, and I'm going to fast forward through it. And then it's just going to go blank, and nothing's going to happen. It'll just sit... Oh, okay, well now it works. Now it works that I'm not in testing. I still have Edrin as my title. So it's still there. Still there, and I could set Vix as my avatar. I've thought about it. Alright, so now that this is not broken, I don't care about any of this. How come this is all of the sudden not broken? Alright, so is this going to work when I open it here? Also, how's my voice coming through? And how's it doing with the game audio? Is everything good? Because I'm using a mic instead of just like the internal thing. And yeah, like I said, I made a lot of little changes. Okay. Alright, when I was preparing this stuff, I must have been doing it on the messed up ROM when I was trying to figure stuff out. Because it wasn't letting me get to this part, it was just going to a blank screen and stopping. Yeah. I'm basically operating on like a small portion of my actual screen, and then now that I have a nice like new monitor, I can put my other stuff up there, even though it's not the highest resolution. Yes. We all know how this goes. Oh, wait. Alright. So, ZS Nest, I think it's F1 save state, but I'm just going to do it like this. And I think I still need to go around. I think I put a spot in there. Oh, no, I didn't. Because that's one of the things we're supposed to do tonight. I do have a dual monitor set up now, but I'm only running on... what you guys are seeing only happens on one monitor, but I have OBS and Twitch open on the other monitor. Yeah, so this is the new configuration I put for it. So they're like a wall in front of Ifrit, and there's no confusion over who it's pointing at. So I had it last week. There was some issue. Alright, and so you'll see that all of them will die, except for one. Right off the bat here. In fact, Ifrit may die, which will kill everyone else, won't it? Oh, okay, no it won't. Yeah, so this one, you can't see where I'm pointing, you can't see my finger. That last Infernal Nail, has, like, a bajillion HP. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's something like 16 million. 16 million HP. And I need to find where that is in the hex, because I don't remember. Alright, so where does it say it is? Because I need to fix this. I mean, hypothetically, I could just use Monster 2 instead of Monster 6 and get around the whole problem. But I fixed this when I was doing this for Titan Extreme, and I can't remember what I did. I think it was something really small. I think it was just like 1 byte was the wrong number. Like, I think it might even be this right here. Branch of equal 03. If not, branch 13, so that would take it down to 5A or something like that. Wait. That's 1, 2, 3. Hold on. Yeah, I think it's just 1, 3C87. This might be it here. It's one of these branches is just the wrong number. All right, so load A. Shoot, and it would make sense. I had this whole thing worked out, and I have no idea what I did with it. I had like a bunch of notes on this, and I lost it at some point when I like redid everything. CFCF50 on the original code. Well, according to this, it says it starts at D150 in raw. Oh wait, never mind. Was that was I missing an offset? Is that all that was? Okay, so that is the one that is actually getting loaded. See, what doesn't make sense to me though is that I only see this happen once here. What I'll need to do is just step through it and see what it looks like. And I know that wastes a lot of time. Sup, Dastern? I know that wastes a lot of time, and you guys really aren't here to watch me dig through hex. Even though I really need to do this. Because I want to fix my AI upgrade patch. But I don't think I've got time to do this. So what I'm going to do instead is just go ahead and move this guy over here. And you are right here. And I will show. You're going to go to the same one as that, so 13, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and I'll make you go away. You are not a thing. All right, so those ones should work. But somebody remind me to actually fix that later, because I will forget. And then someone's going to come back and tell me that my patch is terrible, and I'll be like, WTF? And then it'll be this patch that I put in that isn't mine that I forgot to fix. So yeah. Yeah. It doesn't look like emotes are going to show up on here. Shows up in this part, but because of the chroma key, it's going to fade it out. That's alright. I think I still technically like this better. Alright, well, let's get some stuff with Ifrit. Let's get to some of the stuff with Ifrit. Let me go back over. Wow, I have a lot of things open right now. All right, so I'm gonna close the instructions. I'll close 24-bit disassembly. All right, so I'm gonna open this back up, and we're gonna use a couple other things today. We're going to briefly use FF6LE Rogue Plus, which you can get from the utilities page, and we are going to be using event script text to help us find commands for making just a brief little event thing for before we do the fight. I think that's it. And then hex editor to actually put in the event. Yeah, that can stay there. I don't really care. Actually, no, I will close that because we're going to change things. We are going to change things. All right. So I fixed that. Fix that. Let's save that. And I'll close that for now. And we're going to make you my editor loader. Is it? Which one did I put this in? Here we go. I hope this didn't break my ROM. Ah. Real quick, let me back up. Let me back this up. I'm gonna back this up before I do this, because I'm wondering if the problem that I had earlier was because of this. So I'm gonna open this up, because I know this is an edited version. This is like twice edited from the original. Yeah, of course it's gonna do this. There we go. I was about to start yelling at Kuga. Okay. Alright. So this is a neat little utility. It's a map editor, but it also changes all the things that you find in maps. So it's got all of the things here. Hey, Lock Kirby, glad you can make it. Alright, so we have all the things here, and where we are actually going to be doing something today is Ancient Castle Inside. And there's actually only one of these. A lot of these have multiple copies of basically the exact same thing. And the reason they do that is, in some cases, it is one that has monsters and one that does not have monsters, which is dumb. In fact, the Ancient Castle Cave, I believe, has one like this. Ancient Castle Cave 1 and Cave 2. It'll have, like, the exits, and you see that this one's missing right here. Everything else is active. This is where we go ahead and do everything else that we do in the cave. Ancient Cave 2 is just the save point and these exits. All of this stuff is visually still there because they share the same map space, but they are distinctly separate. But they're separated logically, even if they're connected by their tile sets. Not tile sets. Somebody tell me what it's called. Anyway, by the actual, I think it's map space. By the actual map space is the same one that copies. So if I make an edit to a tile here, it will appear on the other one as well. But anyway, the only reason that they have two of these is because the room with the save, they didn't want there to be monsters in there. So when you enter that room, this map doesn't have monsters. This map has monsters. That's stupid. I mean, I guess it's not taking up that much space. This is basically a bunch of pointers. But I think there's better ways they could have used that. Which is why in Children of Vector, I created a reusable event that just turns on and off battles. So that you don't have that same problem. Map index, but have different event. There you go. There you go. Lingo. I'm a smooth talker. If you haven't figured that out yet. Alright, so anyway. That's your crash course in this. Ancient Castle Inside. We are only concerned with this guy right here. Actually, is that the right one? Yeah, that's the right one. Because this is the exit that goes outside. And it looks I feel like some of the stuff looks a little bit wonky on here. I don't know if you guys can see any of this, but anyway, the blue squares are treasures, yellow squares are exits, green things are events. Okay, so what I want to do is put a couple event squares around the treasure chest. What I did with Primal Ifrit, with Ifrit Extreme, who technically was Primal Ifrit, I just named it differently. What I did with Ifrit Extreme was I actually removed the treasure and created an NPC there with the basically an invisible NPC and put a chest graphic there that got opened up and when you interacted with it and did its event. But I'm going to do something different with this one. So in this one, what I'm actually going to do is just add a couple events. So we're going to insert an event and drop it there, and I'm going to make a couple copies of that for here and here. So whatever I do, I want to make sure I can do it in all three, because I'm too lazy to make different ones. Not for the not for the ancient caves, no. Some maps, but not this one, or not the ancient cave where we were on before. Alright, and I already found a space for me to put this. Let me go back to my notes. Go back to my notes. Of course I didn't write it down. Of course I didn't write it down. It's alright, it's just at the end of, I'm going to close these, it's just at the end of the CC bank. At the very end of all the rest of the code. I'm not going to worry about expanding it and jumping out. We're not doing all that stuff. We're just doing something really simple, really basic. So let me jump back into Primal Ifrit. Bam. And we're going to go to the beginning of the CD bank, because that actually brings us to the end of the C bank. With the offset, this is actually beginning of CD, and this is the end of CC. So I don't really have to worry about it because the game already knows to look in there. Or at the very least, actually, the game doesn't have any problem with different offsets, with offsets that are larger. What has a problem is this. Unless that's one of the things they changed in the Plus version. If I actually try to change my event to something that's above, I was about to say 20,000, but that's not really 20,000 in hex. It's actually a lot larger than that. More than 2 banks above where we're at, it will only save 2. In fact, it may not save that number at all. It may just save 30. I don't remember. But what I used to have to do, what I was doing in Children of Vector before, was that when I had an event that took place somewhere else, I would change it in here, and then I would have to go in and manually change it in the hex to point at the right place. It was dumb. It was dumb, and hopefully, because I know the Plus version was made with expansion in mind, I hope that that's not a thing here. But again, we don't have to worry about that. We don't have to worry about that because we are working in this space here, which is at the end of the CC bank. So hypothetically, if we were to start here, that's going to be subtracting in hex always gets me. Subtracting in hex always gets me, and I don't even know why. It shouldn't be that difficult. That's FF6LE. I don't know. This says it's D0060, and what is that? So CC FE60, and because we're subtracting from the CA for our offset for Rogue, that's 2FE60. All right. So I have to give a brief explanation on event offsets if I'm doing this. I feel like I'm just kind of doing a lot of stuff tonight. And man, I wish I could resize this stuff. That's normally the safest thing to do. That's definitely the easiest way to do it. That's probably the way you should be doing it. But anyway, so events, whenever events are called, they are called with an offset of basically starting with the CA bank, CA0000. And so events take place in the CA, the CB, and the CC banks. So the first event is at CA0000. Okay. In raw, that is 0A, 0, and depending on whether your ROM is headered or not, and it probably is because most of the editors take that into account, going to be 0A, 0200. So that means if this is our raw, this is basically what we need to subtract from our hex number to get where we're at. So the raw I have here is D0060. So D0, wait, did I say 0060? Okay, so minus what we translated as, oh wait, I'm sorry. I did not do the offset for this. So it believes this is the start. So if this is 0, if that is 0, then if we have hypothetically something that is CB, 0000, if we were to call it in the game, it uses the offset of CA, 0000, which is going to leave us with 10000. Okay, so it's just one bank off, and this is what it would recognize as the event ID. That's what it would think is the event ID. So you're not calling in any kind of absolute value, it's all a relative value. That's how calling events works. Okay. So, oops. So if this is my raw, adding 200 for the header and C00000 for the high ROM location, that means we're at CD. I'm sorry, CF, because we're subtracting. You're subtracting that and adding that. We're at CF FE60. So that is our actual location. And now we subtract CA0000 from that. And that gives us an ID. I'm sorry, I said CF, and that is not CF. It is CC. So that gives us an offset of 2FE60. Alright, so that is the event ID we're working with. From D0060 in the raw, that gives us an event ID of 2FE60. Does everyone follow that? I know there's a lot of like tiny little things that are off for that, but that's how you come up with it. A bunch of tiny little things you have to come up with to do that. Alright, so that means if I go back into the editor here, then my event that I just created, the event ID I'm going to use is whatever the heck I just said it was. 2FE60. And I can't copy paste, of course. 2FE60. Alright, no. So we're going to save that. Oh. We just broke it. I found out why the ROM... Okay, so there's a bug in Rogue Plus because... Oh no, it's not a bug. I changed the wrong thing. I'm a dummy. I changed the entrance event. I should have been that's supposed to be this event down here. I changed the entrance event. And you do not want to screw with entrance events unless you really know what you're doing. which clearly I do not. Which clearly I do not. So I need to go find out what the actual one is. I break a lot of things on the stream, guys, so get used to it. I'm going to open another copy of this and load something that is not broken. And find out what my entrance event is supposed to be. What is my entrance event supposed to be? Ancient Castle Inside. Events, entrance event 219F5. 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 Entrance event. The entrance event is basically what the game is initializing when the map loads up. It is basically the thing that makes your map work. So that's where you put your NPCs that are walking around, your passive NPCs. That's where you put basically anything that is not an active event that is happening needs to go in the entrance event. So yeah, you can very easily break your game by messing up with the entrance events, which I just relearned the hard way. Alright, 219F5. 219F5. Let me make sure I did that right, and then we're going to do a fun little exercise. 219F5. That is correct. That is correct. Let me close this other version. Alright, 219F5. Let's go ahead and do our math backwards to find out where this is located. And once we find out where this is located, we'll check it by going into the event disassembly and see what this has in its entrance event. Because why not? Because why not? We are here to learn. Alright, so 219F5, I think it was. Okay, so if we're adding CA0000 to that, we are ending up with CC19F5. And that's actually where we can stop. We don't have to add the 200 because we're not going to raw, we are going to the actual ROM location. So CC19F5, and from the documents page, which I have linked right here, which obviously you can't click on, but if you go down to my panels and click on the FF6 hacking thing, I'm gonna pull this down. Oh wow, they resized. I did not want that to happen. Oh, that's bad. I'm gonna crash Firefox. What are you doing, Firefox? I'm gonna break things. Alright, go down to my panels and you'll see a panel for ff6hacking.com. Click on it, and on the left hand side there's a navigation panel, and there's something that says FF3 US documents. Click on that. That is this link, and you can get the event script, which is this. Alright, so CC19F5. We're going to find this and find out what it is in the event script. Find. Well, maw goes someone 10 bucks. Changing background layer OE to palette 1.5 and colorize color range to color 07. So what this is doing is, I believe that is, I believe this is palette 6, set up for palette 6. So when you do event, basically 6 is set aside. Yeah, I don't think I'll be doing any kind of Patreon thing or whatever for this. All right. Anyway, since I have to explain everything that I do, because why not, I'll tell you what this is doing. So background layer OE to palette 1.5 is setting palette 6, which is basically designed to be a variable palette. So palettes, no wait, I'm sorry. Is it 6 or 7? Somebody let me know. Is Skiing Attack on tonight? I know he dealt with this stuff a bunch. I think it's 6. I think it's actually 6 and 7 change things, but I don't remember exactly. So 1 through 5, or 0 through 5, excuse me, 0 through 5 are set in stone on the world map. 6 and 7, thank you. If it's OE, is that 6 and OF is 7? No, I know what you meant, Locke. Okay. Cool. Yeah, so OE for 6 and OF for 7. So basically what that is you know how all the characters have palettes that they work with. See, this is why I like hacking. I know that this, I don't know if you guys enjoy this as much as I do, and I know I'm going on like a million tangents, but this is actually fun for me. To actually go through and see how everything works and see how everything knits together and works together, because it's that connection between things that makes all of this work, and it's that connection between things that makes hacking what it is. By understanding that, oh, this is something I saw here, but that's how this relates over here. So we're going to look at the palettes over here, which most spriters have probably never thought about too much beyond what it is, and now we get to see what they do in the event code, and we could even take that into the the disassembly and look at things in there, and we can look at the and that leads us into the video RAM and why there's a limited amount of space and all this other stuff, how all that stuff fits together. So we've got Terra here, and so if we're looking at the palettes, we've got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we get to 6 here, and that looks really weird. It's because 6 is set up, 6 and 7 are set up to be changeable. Okay, so the Super Nintendo, and I might need a correction on this. I think it's the Super Nintendo actually only goes up to 8 usable palettes at any given time, or is that just how they used this space in Final Fantasy VI? Is that a product of how they used the video RAM in Final Fantasy VI? I don't remember the answer to that question, but for us, we only have 8 palettes. And so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are permanently loaded. They're not permanently, but they're in the overworld. They are always present. Thank you. So those are always present because all the NPCs use that. They use that for a lot of other things. And then 6 and 7 are assignable, but because of spell effects, because of things that they want to do, they can't restrict those to certain ones all the time. And so so they neglected using those for characters because they wanted to save those for being able to do random effects on the screen or what have you. And so they basically reserved those to load up a bunch of other temporary palettes that would get loaded in there. Okay? And so those generally get set up in the entrance events, because this is basically what runs right before the screen fades in. And so before any of the characters are even drawn, it sets that up. So you can hypothetically change it in the middle of like an active event, but what you're basically doing is you're changing anything that is using that palette. So if you have something on the screen that is using that palette and it gets changed, it's all of a sudden just going to change color, and it's not going to be very interesting to look at. It's just going to be like, you know, unless you have a reason for it to just look like it just changes for out of nowhere. So anyway, so that's why those take place in entrance events. And this is for Odin, I believe. So palette, and that's Hex 1.5, which this gets kind of annoying sometimes, that FF3 USME does not use hex. It generally uses decimal. But 15 is 21. So I believe this is the palette here that Odin uses. And if I find Odin in here, which I actually could find if I had my my ROM map out. Why not? This is what we're doing tonight, apparently. This is what we're doing tonight, apparently, is just going through and connecting a bunch of dots. Alright. Documentation. And ROM map is somewhere, right? No, we're not. It's not called a... Shoot, what did I call it? Well, actually, what is it called? FF3 info. I think that's it. Yeah. So if I look up Odin... Shoot. It doesn't have numbers here for me. Alright, so 7, 97, 97 to 51 is what? 54? 54? What am I close to? Is this one in hex? 50 is Vargas, I remember that. Or maybe that's 50 in, man, I don't know. I'm just gonna go, Odin, or no. I'll just go until I find it. Why not? Why not? Let's... What did I just pass? I hate how everything is messed up. Every view is messed up. Can someone make a program? Can somebody make a version of this that is not messed up? Turtle. What the heck? Oh, that's a bird. Looks like a thong or something. It looks like underwear. Oh, man. Nope. Nope. Man, where is this thing? The flame flying bird thing. I don't think I've gotten there yet. Oh, it says 9A. Oh, that's right, because this skips a bunch of numbers. 9A, and it actually does tell me, because 9A is 154. What? Or not? Or not? Man. There we go. 21. All that to prove a really stupid point. That I can do math. Okay. Alright, so yes, Odin is 21. Man, that was the most pointless thing I have done on the stream so far. That's saying something. That's saying something. I don't even remember what we were doing anymore. We were connecting dots. We were connecting dots. We were looking at the graphics. We were looking at the sprites. And we were talking about... Oh, that's right. And so we were in the event script. And I was talking about why palette 6 was changed to this. It's because Odin has a very specific palette that he has to use. And this is the map that he's loaded in, and they don't need it for anything else that uses palette 6 other than Odin in there. All the other NPCs use the standard palettes, one of the 6 standard palettes. So anyway, so that's why this is here. There's a reason for everything. There's a reason for everything. Okay? Alright, and the colorize range, that's what... dim is the wrong word, but that's the thing that makes it dim the lights, makes it look like it's kind of like tinted. Because if you look at this looks almost exactly like the inside of like Figaro Castle or something. But in the game, you'll see it's like kind of a tinted kind of deal. So load this guy up. See how it's darker? Almost orangish. No, I guess it is just darker. A couple shades darker. Yeah. So yeah, so it just makes it a couple shades darker so that it looks dank. Alright. So colorize range, and then return. So there wasn't a whole lot in that entrance event, but by changing it to a bunch of FFs, it never was able to return and go actually back into processing the game, because I jumped it into a bunch of blank space. So, coming full circle, fix the entrance event. Now this is where I set my event that I just set up. That is going to whatever it was that I said it was. 2FE60. 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 Ha. And you know what? I will go ahead and make 2 more. And I'll just point them at the same place. 2FE60. 2FE60. And save levels. My entrance vent is not broken anymore. Wait, is this supposed to be FB or F5? I could have swore that was F5 before. 219. Hold on. FB is going to jump to... It's going to be EF. That is going to be a wrong thing. I could have sworn 219 F5 is what I said. Stay. Stay. I have had consistent problems with things not saving properly with the level editor. Ugh, look at that mess. The mess of things. F5. 60. Okay. 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 And save the ROM here. Close that. And I can't change anything in here because it'll overwrite what I just did there. And so this is where our event goes. So now if I try to walk up to, if I were to load the game up and try to walk up to the chest, it would freeze because it would jump right here, and these are not commands. And it would never return to the game because there's no FE. Now if I just put FE here, then it would just return and we'd be able to keep going. So we can demonstrate that because it will only take like 3 seconds. Okay, so done in it. And we'll load this up. Oh, yeah, see, and I'm already in the space, and it tried to run the event, and I can't move. I'm stuck. Oh no! Oh no! But put FE in there instead of FF, and this will verify for us that we are pointing in the actual correct location. So this isn't totally pointless. This is actually making sure that we have the correct event ID. And there it is. See, I can run through those squares as much as I want because it returns to the game as soon as I do it. Hooray! Huzzah! We are effective at doing nothing so far. All that to have done nothing. But that's okay, because now we know things. That's really what this is all about. Okay. Alright, so now we need to figure out what we want to put in here. And that was something that I intended to do, but had not. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it really simple. In fact, I was even thinking of just adding the little burn thing and the youch from when you visit Gao's father. No, I did not break it. Or I did, technically, the first time, but it was on purpose. Ancientizer. Alright, so we need to figure out what we want to put. Actually, what do you guys think? Does anyone have an idea? So basically this is going to be an event that runs when you approach the chest. Just some kind of warning, just kind of something to let you know that, hey, this is going to be a big deal. You may not want to open this yet. So what do you guys think? What should I put? What should I put in that event? Because it's easier if you come up with it instead of me. And we can start looking for those commands in here. Because this has a lot of cool stuff. Shake the screen. Oh, that's a good one. There is a shake screen. In fact, shake screen. Right, shake screen and rumble. Which, doesn't that normally go right in? It's normally right around the same place as shaking the screen. If I do it, I won't want to do it with permanence. It's 5E7F00. Why is that? What kind of thing is 5E? Let's do it this way. You know what, Lock Kirby? You know what? I don't think I appreciate that comment. Alright, let's do it. And you gotta make sure you put that return at the end. You guys ready for this? Yeah! No! No! You've entered the Twilight Zone. Actually, you know what? I'm going to leave those FFs. Except for the first one. Alright. Alright, so we want shaking the screen and a sound effect. Do you want how about like a tint? How about like a tint? So I'm wondering if we can do it, but have it not be persistent. Because I don't want to have to create more events to make the stuff stop happening. But it won't just automatically stop when I walk away, unless it's like almost like a siren, like that, you know? Because my hand obviously illustrates what I'm talking about. All right, so let's look for a couple things, and then we will. I hope that made sense to everyone. I'm deleting it, so I can put the event in here. And this is what I do. I basically will copy the commands and drop them in here, so that I have a document with the entire disassembly in it. And disassembly is probably the wrong word. The script. All right, so what we actually want to find is we're going to find shake screen. Shoot, I don't remember off the top of my head how the format for that works, but what I can do is look up where this is located, and I know that it is only 3 bytes. I'm sorry, 2 bytes, only 6 and 7. So it's 58F0. And those are all the things that F0 is setting up. Okay. So 58F0. And let's see what that looks like and what if it's around so we can learn. Okay, so if I do 58, shake screen, and then F0 is the intensity, permanence, layers, etc. And then we will just return. And let's see what that looks like. No, I just closed all the things. Don't do that again. Okay. Okay, well that's not doing anything. Did save it, right? Did save it. Alright, so what I need is probably more intensity or something. Let's find something that is... What did I do? In Children of Vector, I had it just like shake a couple times. So let's go there. Documentation, events, Ancient Castle inside. See, and so this is what my final product ends up looking like. I have my edited entrance event, and then I put, you know, where it's located, where I'm going to have my event located, and then I basically start copying in all this stuff so that it looks basically identical to this, only, whoops. What was I just doing? This. Okay. So yeah, so this is all the stuff inside. And the shake screen happens when Odin says you must hurry, I believe. You must go soon. No, that's Chancellor. I don't want that one. No! Alright, let's find something where Odin talks. Oh, wait. That's what it was up here. Whatever your choice, make it quickly. Right? Let me go up. Here we go. Yes, this one right here. So F3. And there's the sound effect right next to it. So F4, 114. Give it to me in hex. 7.2. So F472 is that, and then 5.8 F3. So F4, what did I say, 7.2? And then 5.8 F3 FE. And I'm going to have to turn the volume up so that I can hear. Whoa! Things have happened. Hold on. Right. Make shaking permanent until it stops. Right, okay, so that's what it affects. Okay, so yeah, so those are 1, 2, and 3 all shake by putting an F. 1, 2, and 3 are, well, that would just be bits 1 and 2, or bits 1 and 2, or 0 and 1 technically. Okay. All right, well, let's just see what we got. You guys might get a little bit of echo because I turned some sound on for me. Ah. It's because it keeps running. So what I need to do is basically have a thing that, that's why it's just going to keep doing that. So what I need to do is add something so that that has time to process. So we need to add maybe like a dialogue or something. Yeah. Because what it's doing is it's running every instant, every time it checks what tile I'm on, it's running that code. So what I could do is I could set an event bit so that it only does it once. Or if I do a pause for a certain amount of time, that I might need to set so that I can keep walking so that it doesn't freeze me. Because that could hypothetically freeze me in place. Let's find out. 92 is pause for 30 units. Let's see if that works. Let's see if putting a 92 after this. Now what it does is I can only, I'm just holding over and I basically have to, so that pause is kind of stopping me from being able to act. So I'm just holding over, I'm not trying to stay there. And then I get lucky when I get out. So we need to have a little bit more control over it than that, but that's a good start. Is 95 the one where you set it yourself? I don't remember now. Event script. Pause 400. Yeah, I mean pause for even longer, but that's going to run into the same problem where it's freezing me in place. Unless I add the one where actually let me why don't we add some text? Let's add some text. Make sure I close this. Dialogue. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Either an empty event bit. And I think, do I have that open? Do I have the event bits? I don't think I do. I've got one, I just don't have it open. Event. Event bits. I don't know if this document is on the documents page. It might be. Oh yeah, like something that actually forces them away. Yeah, that way we wouldn't have to use. No, we would still have to, because even if we said yes, it would leave us there, and then it would just run the whole thing again. So we still need an event bit for that. So I just need to use any of these unused ones, really. I don't know if I can verify any of those. Use that one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, dialogue. That's why we need to have some sort of event bit. Or if I made even more tiles and put them further away, so then you either walk forward, walk towards it, or you walk away. But this is fine. I can use any of these. There's a bajillion unused ones in here, so it's really not an issue. I just need to remember, because I don't. I just need to remember the commands for each specific one here. Alright, so what we're going to do, so let me know if this doesn't make sense to anybody. What we're going to do is we're going to use an event bit that basically what it is, it's a small piece of RAM that is just one tiny little bit, 1, 0, or 1, that when you step on the tile, it's going to set that bit, or what it's going to do is it's going to check to see if the bit is set, and if it is set, it will not run the event. If it's not set, it runs the event and then sets the bit so that it knows not to run it again. Because as long as you're standing on the tile, it's just going to keep going. It's just going to keep trying. So yeah. Looks like I lost my own Twitch feed. I think I still have you guys. I'm assuming I still have you guys, because you guys keep saying things while I'm talking. I hope that didn't happen to anyone else. That would be really frustrating if other people were like losing the feed. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and use this one. 5.1 here, or it's bit 5.1, which is located at 8A, and it's bit 1. Alright. So the first thing I need to do is set event bit. That's going to be the last. That's going to be the last thing. So F47258, F4974B, dialog with an option B6. Yeah, well, it's a monster in a box, so I was just going to go ahead and let them open it instead of triggering the battle. Yeah, I mean, and that's what I had always, that's what I had planned on doing. So now let's do the event bits, because I think that's good for learning purposes. I think if we've got to do it anyway, we might as well just be basically because this is going to be a harder boss than usual, and so, and also because this is supposed to be educational, so we're like doing things to help people understand how this stuff works. Yeah, I intended to get to more actual stuff with Ifrit tonight, but that apparently is not happening, because we are almost on 11 o'clock now, and we have not done that. Alright. So set event bit. And I had something somewhere at some point. We didn't get to any of this. We didn't get to any of that. Event script. Event action commands. Do I have it in here? Nope, that's just the action commands. I've got somewhere something that tells me each of the event, because there's different ones because it's how many bits there are. Alright. Man, it's been a while. I wish I had done this ahead of time. Alright. Let me just look around for things that say event bit. Set event bit, set event bit, set event bit, clear event bit. I'm not looking for 229. I'm actually looking for 658. Okay, I think because I'm in 0, I'm actually still using D0 to set. Okay. Alright, so what I'm looking at is I know it's set, clear, set, clear, set, clear, starting with, so it's D0 for set, D1 clear, D2 set, D3 clear, D4 set, D5 clear, and then they are based off of this ID right here, which corresponds to these right here. Okay, so anything with a 0 is going to be using D0. Okay, because this is FF bits. We're only using, we only have one parameter to work with. And once it goes up to 1, so D0 and D1 do all of these event bits. Look at all those. Look at all those unused event bits. And then D2 and D3 set and clear all the ones that start with 1, and so on and so forth. All right, so that's how that works. So hypothetically, if I'm using this one right here, which is what we'll say, setting that event bit is going to be done with, I'm not making copies like I was going to, would be D251 is going to set event bit 51. Okay, so that means before I do this, I need to do my check. Alright, so, and there should be, alright, because I'm only seeing things that say set and clear, I must be looking for the wrong phrase for if. Oh, hold on. That's okay, this is what I'm looking for here. So if okay. So what I'm looking for is, it doesn't matter if what it is. In fact, why don't we look for the one that's like right next to it? List of event commands for event bits. Thank you. And it's on the site too. And that's under which one? The event code conditionals. Let's try this. Can I? Oh wait, I can click on things. I don't know why I didn't just do that. Alright, so conditionals. Bit will compare to 0, so it will be compared to 1. In a nutshell. Yeah, and I only need to check one additional, one thing. And so what is my syntax? So C0, and then the Right. But is that using the bit? Yeah, the wiki's doing really well, guys. Thank you very much for putting this together. That's really helpful. Yeah, see, this is what I was talking about. This is what I was talking about just a second ago. See, we didn't have any of this when I was doing my Children of Vector stuff. I was just like reading the stuff and figuring out how it worked with other things. Right. So T1 and then address. Okay, but is this only 1 byte or is this supposed to be 2 bytes then? Because that would be a lot of bytes loaded, because to identify one of these bits we need, I can go look at it in the code. So let's look at this right here. 2 bytes, that would make sense. So then I would be looking at like 5101. So CO 5101. So actually, let's go ahead and look up this address in the hex. Go to C3815. Where am I? Where's the blinky? Okay. A901. Yep. Okay, so it's just the ID in hex. Cool. We got it. And then an address, and I'm assuming that's with an offset, and it is. Okay. So 02 would be CC Bank at 3624. All right, cool. We've got it. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and copy this, because I'm supposed to be doing this. And so it's actually 051 is the one I'm going to do, which is 8A bit 1, 8A bit 1. If it's clear, continue. No. So that means if it's set. So I want that to actually be if set. So what am I changing? Is it the high bit in the parameter? Would that be A981? Let me look at the next one here. That thing, D load case word, blah blah blah. CO, yes, 81. So the difference here on whether something's set or not is the I don't know if there's anyone on who doesn't know some of this stuff, so I'm gonna say it anyway. Okay, so if we look at the two that we just did, this was the first bit we checked, and this is the second one, and they're off the same address. See, they're off the same address, bit 1 on this address, the same bit ID, and this one's checking if it's clear and this one's checking if it's set. So the difference in both of those conditionals, we were looking at it, whoops, was this right here. So the first one, and I'm going to go ahead and do this over here so you can see, C0, A9, 01, and C0, A9, 81. Okay, so what this is saying is if, that's C0 is basically saying if 01A9, because these bytes get reversed. That's what's called endian order. So if this ID is clear, okay, and then the other one says if 01A9 is set. So why 8? Why 8? Because if we look at 0, 1 and 8, 1, so 0, 1 in binary, well, it's obviously just 1. But if we look at 8, 1 in binary, that's 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, okay? So for that byte, it's taking that highest point, that highest bit, and setting it, because that will never be used as an identifier because there's a much smaller number of events. And so what they did in order to save space, instead of adding a whole extra byte to, or a whole extra command to differentiate between whether something's set and something's clear, they're using this bit. So if this bit is set, it's checking to see if the ID is set. If this bit is clear, it's checking to see if the ID is clear. Okay? So that is why C0A901 is checked to see if 1A9 is clear, and C9 or CO-A981 is checked to see if 1A9 is set. Got it? That makes sense? Okay. All right. So we are checking to see if it's set. And if it's set, it's going to branch ahead to FE, and I don't know where that's going to go yet, so I'm just going to put XX in there because it's going to basically return if it's already set. All right, so that's going to be our first command. And then we will go run the other stuff that we were going to do, which is those two things. And I can just copy them right over here. So let's play the sound effect for the earthquake. And this is, actually, let's do this. Let's do that. Okay, and then shake screen and all that stuff. And then it will set the bit. Set the bit, which is D051, right? Now, come on, find set bit. Let's do this. We'll do D0. Okay, so basically I'm just finding somewhere in the code that this exists so I can copy it over here, and then I edit it to match my code. And this is 051 is the one that we're changing, that we're doing bit, and it happens to be bit 1, so that works out. Okay, so DO set event bit. That is not the address that ours is going off of. Not that it's super important. 8A bit 1. 8A bit 1. Okay. All right. So what this is going to look like, and then we can just do a return. FE return. Bing. And that's a really simple event. Don't you need to exit if it's set to check if it's clear? No, I'm checking to see if it's set. I'm not checking to see if it's clear. So if it's set, it will jump to this address. If it's clear, then it's going to go ahead and just run the rest. It's going to keep running code. And then it's going to get down here, and it will set it, and then we will be done. Okay, so I'm going to do that real quick. And so what this is going to look like is going to be C0, 5, 1. We're checking to see if it's set. So this is going to be 8, 0. Okay. Because the ID was 0, 5, 1. And then it will go to FE. I'm sorry. Shoot, I didn't come up with where that's going to end. That's okay. I'm sorry, D0000. Yeah. Right here. What I'll do is I'll just put that right here, 70. For now. 70. And I'll put one of those in there. All right, 70. So what I'm doing now is I'm converting this into hex for us to copy in. All right, so this 70 FE02 because of our CA offset. And then play sound 4-2, 7-2, which is the earthquake sound, 5-8, F3 is going to be a shake with all this stuff, DO, set event 5-1, and then FE. I believe that's it. I believe that is literally all we need. And then what I'll do is I'll change the 70 to wherever that FE ends up being for consistency's sake. Okay, so let's go over here and we'll pop that in. This is actually ending at 6C. 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 And 6C. And that should be fine. That should work. That should work. It doesn't necessarily need to, I mean, I guess I probably should force them to pause for a second. Yeah, we'll add a 9-5. We'll add a 9-5 in there. The shake I want to have happen right away. Hypothetically, I can put it wherever I want, so I'll just stick it here. 95 FE, and I just need to make sure I change that to a D. Change that to a D. What? There we go. Pause 420 units. That's what that looks like. Bing. Bing, bang, bong. All right. All right. You are now a D. You are now a D. And you are now a D. Okay. All right. Testing time. And this is probably where we're going to cut it for the night. And shoot, I'm already standing on the square. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and walk up to it fresh. Alright. Alright. And let's get a... fresh save state. I didn't hear a sound, but now it's not going to run again. So that was very, very minor as far as warnings go. Did anyone else not hear that? I am not hearing the shake, the sound effect. I might have done something wrong. What did I do wrong? Maybe I picked the wrong number here. Maybe I picked the wrong number here. It would help if I put the right command in. FE02. Yeah, I don't know what I put 4.2 in there for. F4. I must have the answer to the meaning of life, the universe, and everything stuck in my head. Alright, so let's reload that. I was using some wrong command. There we go. Well, there we go. We'll probably make that a little bit more intimidating. Alright, well, I'm glad I'm not the only one. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Alright, so we... Yeah, we'll need to do a couple. The problem with looping it is that it will be persistent even after the boss fight. And since I'm trying to keep it so that it's just a monster in a box setup, it won't automatically start running code again after the fight. And so I won't have an opportunity to turn it off. So I can't make it persistent, but what I may do is add a couple, or add it bright red and then shake a couple times, and then like a dialog box or something like that. So what we did was just like bare bones getting something up, so you can kind of see what it looks like. Yeah, I'll probably do it a few times. Like it'll really like shake, 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 wait, shake, shake, shake. Shake your booty. Right? I don't know. We'll make it a little bit more menacing, but we won't spend too much time on it. I'll work everything out, and then we'll go in. And what I'll do is, now that you've seen how I do this, I will have this whole thing filled out next week with what we'll do, and then we'll put it in on stream so that we're being true to doing the whole thing on stream. But I thought of that, Lock Kirby, but what I'm worried will happen was that the script won't keep running if they start the fight too quickly. So if the event doesn't have time to finish, I don't think it's going to run again. Or if it did, it would run the whole thing again. Unless we set the event bit before that. But even if we did that, the shaking would still be there if we set it for permanent. I don't know. I'll do some brainstorming. I'll try to actually get a thread up this week, and we'll go from there. So tonight we basically just did some event stuff. We took a look at Rogue LE and fixed a few of my personal oversights when I was going through some other stuff. And connected a bunch of random dots that had nothing to do with our hack. But that's okay, because I hope you learned something from it. Actually, so we're not picking up on this next week. Next week, I will be doing just a low-key Q&A while playing a hack. And so bring your questions, bring whatever, even if it's someone already gave you the answer for how it works, but you want, or for what to do, but you want to know how it works. So general questions or things that you may need for your particular hacks or whatever else. Bring all that stuff next week, because that's what next week's going to be about. We're going to end up picking up Ifrit in 3 weeks, because in 2 weeks I am actually going to be at a wedding. So I will be unavailable to stream. But keep an eye on the calendar. It's on the left-hand side, right below the navigation panel, on the FF6hacking.com website. So that will have all of the weekly events in it. And we're going to hopefully start filling that up with some other stuff soon too. I've got a few ideas, and we're going to work out some things to try to get people active and find some fun stuff to do. So yeah. So that's all for tonight. Thank you guys for coming, and I hope to see you guys soon. All right. Happy hacking.